Beachfront property, baby. Hello, good morning, Noodlers. We're going to be signing up for another company and building condos in Hawaii and developing land in Mexico. Yeah! All right. Today is May 4th, 2015. It is New Op Day. So we all know what that means. It is time to get out there and find a brand new, spanking hot opportunity. That's what it's all about. Start your strong session off with a new opportunity day. That's what we're here for. Hey, John, what do you say?
Well, happy New Op Day, Paul, and welcome to the Hangout. And I see that you are drinking a cup from Wendy's. What the hell are you putting in your body, bro? I don't like to see that crap. Not on New Op Day. You should be having one of these right here for breakfast. And a black coffee. No sugar, no milk, no nothing. Breakfast shake.
Like anything from Wendy's?
Is that a Frosty? Is that a chocolate ice cream inside there?
No. No, that's my roommate's replacement cup for all the ones that he threw away and took to work and lost.
Gotcha.
For my morning shake.
So yes, welcome to the Hangout today. You are on with the Ultimate Property Noodler Masters, the Sell a House Arizona team. The man himself, Paul Romero, and me, John Luyster. So you know what? Today I just want to make an acknowledgement to a couple of the team members. I don't know that they're watching, but we've got some guys out there that are going out there getting deals done. We're closing on something today that one of our noodlers had initiated contact and broke ground with the sellers. It actually closed Friday. It was funded today, and he'll be getting his first paycheck. And he's actually got two more along the way for his efforts. So way to go. We had a noodler get a property under contract, I believe it was Friday afternoon, on a property that went well. And this is now his third deal that he's contracted himself in the last 3 months maybe. Years just flying by. It's unbelievable. So it's great to know that we're involved with people that are go-getters, that are going out there wanting to make stuff happen, and that we're actually providing them with the education and the tools they need to go out there and get deals, because that's where the rubber meets the road. That's where paychecks are made. And that's where a lot of wholesalers have turned wholesalers, is that, you know, being who we are and the amount of deals that we're getting in just the last 6 weeks alone, we're on our way to become, I'd say, one of the largest wholesale companies here in Phoenix market. We've done more deals than, I'd say, 95% of the wholesalers that I know directly. So the team's doing great. The system's working, and just buckle up and get on board for some more content here.
I do want to just throw one thing in on that, is what you alluded to, Mark, with in only 3 deals, or not, you didn't say only, but some people might be thinking only 3 deals in 3 months. Mark was actually part-time, sort of strapped with some issues that prevented him from really putting forth an effort towards what he was doing here. So that was just with very, very minimal effort that he was able to pull that off. And now that he's kind of able to put a little bit more focus towards this and really concentrate and buckle down, basically he got that deal. He landed that deal Friday, sort of pretty much within the first week of sort of applying himself. So just wanted to throw that out there.
Yes, he applied himself for 1 week and he got a deal. So imagine if you got a deal a week for the rest of the year. You know, just 52 weeks in a year, you make an average of $5,000 a deal, let's say, off of 52 deals. Do the math. That's a very good year. 5,000 times 52. What is that, Paul? I mean, where's my calculator?
It's got to be 25. No, yeah, got to be. No, that's 25,000. No, I don't know. It's a lot of money. Is it 25,000 or 250,000?
200. You know, one deal a week that you can make $5,000 on average off of each deal. You can have a $260,000 payday. And it only takes, you should be getting a deal a week if you're applying the system. And that's what our guys are actually been doing over the last couple weeks.
Yeah, that's crazy insane. $250,000 a year potential. It's funny you mentioned that actually, because we were talking about the finances yesterday a little bit, just touched on it a little bit. In my mind, I had been thinking, well, wait a second, how much have I earned in the past month and a half, and shouldn't we have more in the company account? And that is something that I want to look at with you, because I am seeing that in my mind, half of what we should have is gone, and I'd like to have a general idea of why that is. But other than that, hey, that's just part of you start making money. Guess what you got to do? You got to start maintaining your money. You got to start taking care of it. You got to start following it. You got to start watching it. You got to start investing it. You got to start saving it. You got to start doing all the right things with it. You can't just make it and continue to do the things that you always used to do, because guess what? Very soon you can make it and you ain't gonna have it. That's the bottom line right there. So one of the things we always profess around here is you have to be willing to make changes in your life, in what you do, in how you look at things, in the way you think, most importantly, in the way you think about things. So again, success here is just like success anywhere else. And you just can't step into something as the same old you and think that, I'm going to be successful in doing this just because of all the facts that I have stuffed into my brain. That's not going to work. You are going to have to be adaptable. You're going to have to be willing to learn. You're going to have to be willing to accept change, willing to apply changes, test them out, see what sticks and what you like, what works, et cetera, and so on. And, ultimately, you have to be teachable. You have to be willing, able to absorb new knowledge and apply new knowledge, and, cipher new knowledge into real-time application that will take you towards success. So there's a little piece of something that we always profess around here is that, I love this little phrase that if you want things in your life to change, you have to change things in your life. I mean, think about it. It's just that simple. You can't do the same thing that you've always done over and over again and expect a different result, because you are legitimately an insane person if you do that.
And legitimately, I'd say 95% of the people in society, whether they realize it or not, are absolutely insane, because they're doing the same things. If it's everybody else, they're conforming to what everybody else is doing, and they're all getting the same results and blaming everyone else for those results. Well, you can blame everybody else, or you can look at who is actually out there copying the people they're blaming and getting the results that they're getting. It all starts with you. It all starts with the kind of person you are, mindset, attitude, thoughts are everything. What do they say? The process of manifestation is your thoughts lead to your feelings, lead to your actions, equals your results. Well, if you can control your thoughts, that means you can control your feelings. If you can control your thoughts and feelings, then you can control your actions, and you can actually control and have a say in what your results are. We are only victims of our own psyche. Nothing else, nothing more.
Yeah, so, absolutely. Because that's what, think about that process of manifestation for a second. Your thoughts, okay? And so it all starts with what you think, how you think about things, what your attitudes are towards things, what your beliefs are towards things. It all starts right there. Your thoughts lead to your feelings. Now, your feelings are, how you feel about things. And if you feel good about something, you're going to do something. If you feel bad about something, you're not going to do something. So if your thoughts lead to your feelings, and that creates your actions, well, if you don't think that if you're not feeling good about something, that maybe you're not going to take an action, and that if you are feeling good about something, maybe you will take a good positive action. So that's, just a real lump outline there. We could break this down for days and days and days as well too, with how tying thoughts to specific feelings to what sort of specific actions that might cause. I mean, a feeling, think about a thought that gives you the feeling of anger. What is your action going to be? Maybe you're going to walk up and punch somebody in the face. Well, it's probably not a very good thought to have in the first place, because the result of that is what? Maybe you land up in jail, or maybe you get your butt kicked. Maybe the guy was too big. It was the wrong guy to punch in the face. I don't know. But same situation. If you thought, hey, you know what? I'm not going to get pissed off at this situation, and this guy, obviously he's upset. I don't need to get upset over it, whatever the case is. Well, now your action is not going to be to walk up and punch him in the face. Your action might be to, simply ignore the situation or walk away. And the result of that is now completely different. You kind of get the idea there? All starts with your thoughts.
Absolutely. And I was actually this morning, and I've been doing this every morning, listening to Earl Nightingale's The Strangest Secret. I suggest, if you haven't heard it before, you should just simply go on YouTube, type in Earl Nightingale, The Strangest Secret, and listen to it religiously, because it's life-changing, but for one very simple thing, that he points out the fact that we become what we think about most. It is absolutely so true. I couldn't possibly stress it any more than we are actually responsible for everything that comes into our lives. Even, what's so funny, even the people that have almost nothing, that complain that they're a victim and everything else, they want to be victims. They feel comfortable. They feel validated by the fact that they're making excuses for themselves, and they also don't have to feel badly about not achieving a successful result because they never put themselves out there. I find that it is so true that we get exactly what we want, because if really think about it for a second. Think about where you are today and where you've been at different stages of your life, and consider what you were doing at each stage, what your mentality was like at each stage, and what you had in comparison to what you wanted. And I would say I'd like to find someone who could prove to me that they never achieved what they actually wanted to have. Even when I was feeling bad and I went through my little stage in life where I was depressed, I realized that I felt comfortable that way, because there was a time when I started to change and things were looking up for me, and I had this nostalgic feeling about the life I used to live, because at the time I was leading the exact life that I wanted. People are getting exactly what they want out of life, whether they realize it or not. Even if they have a completely shitty life and everything is horrible around them, you could say, well, how could you say that about somebody if everything around them is crap and all this bad stuff's happening to them? How can you say this is what they really want? Sit down and talk to that person. You'll see that they're typically exactly where they feel most comfortable, being a victim. It's exactly where they want to be, because they can validate and they can make excuses to explain why they're there, because they're comfortable.
And that's because the law of attraction is real, just like the law of gravity is real, whether you want to believe it or not. That's the bottom line right there. You don't have to believe in the law of gravity to know that you're going to walk off the top of that building and splat on the sidewalk. You can say the law of gravity doesn't exist whatsoever, but guess what? 900 out of 900 times somebody walks off the end of that building, they're splatting on the sidewalk, because the law of gravity is real. Just like the law of attraction is real. You're going to attract into your life what you put out into your life, into the universe, and that's just the bottom line. So that's very funny that you say that. And speaking of which, the whole what you focus on the most with Earl Nightingale and whatnot, we have another little mentor that has a program called Wake Wealthy, and Preston Ely is his name. And it's funny. I think back now, this is 4 years in the making here, right? And I think back now to some of the things that Preston in his program talked about and told, telling people what they need to be doing, right, in order to wake up wealthy. Is one of the things, a couple of the things were like, hey, constantly throughout the day be just telling yourself, I can do it, 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 right? And another thing was, and I love this because his whole thing was kind of based around real, and maybe this wasn't Out of the Wake Wealthy, actually. This might have been out of another thing that I saw of his, but his thing was every day. At least, 2 or 3, 4 times a day, whatever, just proclaim to yourself that I am the biggest, baddest, sexiest wholesaler in all of your, insert your city here, right? And, so I wanted to tie this in because a lot of people are looking at this going, what the heck does all this have to do with wholesale real estate, right? So those two things right there, I can do it, I can do it, I can do it, I can do it, and I am the biggest, baddest, sexiest wholesaler in all of Phoenix. I did that. Okay, I'd be riding my bicycle down the canal at the top of my lungs, people going by, walking, riding the bike the other way, et cetera, and so on. I can do it, I can do it, I can do it, I can do it. And then I am the biggest, baddest, sexiest wholesaler in all of Phoenix, and these people would be looking at me like I was some kind of weirdo. But guess what? 4 years in the making, I have done it. I am the biggest, baddest, sexiest wholesaler in all of Phoenix, next to that guy right there.
It's so funny because your attitude is everything. And you know what? Getting into wholesale real estate, I literally started at ground zero. I got into real estate not knowing anything about real estate. Zilch, zero. And you know how much money I had in my bank account at the time? I was probably negative because I borrowed money off of my credit card and a title loan on my car so I could take real estate courses. So, I went in the hole to get into real estate. I was negative to get into real estate, seriously. And I just kept the attitude that I wasn't going to give up on this. I devoted my time to these different seminars and these different online trainings and these different mentorships and coaching programs that I signed up for. So not only did I devote my time, or let's say invest my time, I also invested my money, and I wasn't going to give up. And it was actually several months. I got into this in January of 2012. I don't think I flipped my first deal until almost August of that year. 7, 8 months with everyone, or not everyone. I had a very strong support system of people, which is another concept that we might not even have. We won't have time to get into how important that is. But then I had some people that were naysaying it. Some people that were telling me real skeptical and didn't think it was going to work. But you know what? I didn't allow that to continually just believe and tell myself I can do it. I can do it. And because of my relationship and meeting Paul, we flipped 2 deals back to back in August of that year, and we thought we had it made. But you know what? It was a long uphill battle from there. In fact, it was even tougher because now we had a taste and then couldn't figure out why we weren't tasting it more often. But we never gave up. Had we given up, my life would have been the way it was 4, 5 years ago, which kind of, thank God it's not. I really think that I wouldn't have progressed as a person. I think that I would be in the same position monetarily. I would be in the same position physically. I'm someone who lost a lot, almost 40 pounds, much more positive attitude, drink less alcohol, all of it. I would say, you're like, what does that have to do with wholesale real estate? Everything. It has everything to do with wholesale real estate. It has everything to do with success. I think that's the point we're trying to make here, is that if you're choosing to get into wholesale real estate because you're interested in real estate, you see the power in it, the power behind it, the amount of money that can be made with both back, no turning around, no 2 steps forward, 4 steps back. Continue moving forward, have your eye on the prize, and keep a positive attitude. Tell yourself you can do it, and you can. It's true. If I was one of the other 98% of people that go to a seminar and blog about it online, how it was a big ripoff and I didn't get anything out of it and it was a big scam, or do you want to be the 2% that say, you know what, there's something to that. I'm going to do exactly what they said, and you're going to go out there and be successful at it. It's all up to you. That's why we always talk about we talk more about personal development than wholesale real estate, because in my opinion, it wasn't until I got into it wasn't until I really got into personal development that my wholesale real estate course, my wholesale real estate business really took off and grew. And, you know, I started with Robert Kiyosaki's Rich Dad, Poor Dad, Tigrant Education was where I started my wholesaling, and they were very adamant from the beginning that you need coaches, you need mentors, you need to learn how to manage your money, you've got to change your mindset, you got to think rich, you got to think big, you got to believe that you can do it, you got to follow a system, blah blah blah. And this was all new to me, but I was at a point in my life where I was like, what I'm doing right now isn't working, and this guy's written, you know, multiple bestsellers, he has millions of dollars in real estate. He's got this guy has a multi-million-dollar education business. I think I'm going to listen to what he has to say, because if I listen to the naysayers and the broke people in my life, guess what? Be broke like. I was leaving it for you to jump in.
Sorry, Paul. Screen was up for 1 second there. I didn't know you had finished. Yeah. Nothing like the hairy knuckle dragging phase to go through after that initial taste. But you know what? That's that hairy knuckle dragging phase. Thank you, Preston, for that shout out there for that that description of this era. But that's the time when, like John said, that's the 2 steps forward and 4 steps back, where most people just go, "Oh my God, are you kidding me? Again, 2 steps forward, 4 steps back. I'm done here. This is a waste." You got to be the type of person that says, you know what, 2 steps forward, I had to take 4 steps back. I'm not done here. I got to figure out how I can now take at least 3 steps forward. You know, I mean, that's it. You just got to go. I got to do it. That's all there is to it. I had some very cool thoughts in my mind there that I was going to go. Oh, I know what I was going to say. We just did some interviews for an office assistant here. Part of my questioning was 3 questions was, how teachable are you? What is your willingness to learn? And what is your willingness to accept change? Every single person basically gave me a 10, at least a 9, some of them on accepting change, you know, well, I would say at least an 8, because maybe some changes shouldn't be accepted, you know, fairly legitimate answer. But basically on how teachable are you, everybody gave me a 10. Every single person. On your willingness to learn, I think I got 1 9, everybody else gave me a 10. You know, you might be looking at this going, well, okay, this whole personal development thing, yeah, it sounds great. I can do that. That's easy. I'll put my time into that. Or you know what, this whole real estate wholesaling thing. You might be like, are you kidding me? All I got to do is get on the phone and call these 20 numbers. Oh, but you want me to do that between 7 and 8 o'clock? That's when my favorite TV show's on. You know, can I do it after 8 o'clock? No, it has to be done between 7 and 8. But my favorite TV show's on. I didn't know it was going to be that hard. You know, you have to get out there and go drive around and knock on doors on Saturday. Well, I'm supposed to play golf on Saturday. I didn't know it was going to be that hard. And that's where the people think that they're teachable and think that they have a willingness to learn and think that they have a high willingness to accept change. But when it really comes down to it, that's where, you know, like John uses the phrase, where the rubber meets the road, is, are you the type of person that really is going to give something up? John mentioned giving up a lot of money for investing in the real estate business. And yeah, are you willing to give up time? Are you willing to give up money along with maybe whatever your favorite thing is, your favorite TV show? What if we told you you couldn't ever eat at McDonald's again if you wanted to be a successful wholesaler? Oh my God, I didn't know it was gonna be that hard. You know, I mean, seriously, you've got to change things in your life if you want your life to change. That's what it comes down to. And no matter how simple or stupid the change might be, or how big or daunting the change might be, if you really want the success that you desire on the other end, you've got to apply yourself to sticking to whatever it is that you've committed yourself to stick to. And that's where most people don't, don't do that's why they don't get there, because they don't have any stickability. So with that, John, we're getting close to the end here. Why don't you finish us out with some final thoughts to go along with that, and we'll take this thing home. That's not a yawn, it's a sneeze almost, and it went away.
A sneeze. I just want to end with, does money make you successful, or is money the result of success? Being successful has nothing to do with money, I feel. Let me clarify that a little bit more. Most people in this day and age in society, they look at a person and they determine their value, they determine their worth, and they determine their level of success by how much money they make. Really, you know what? You can make all the money in the world, but if you feel like crap, you eat like crap, you'll look like crap. And are you really successful? Let's say you're making $250,000 a year, and then in 10% of the 50 states, you'd be in the top 1%. Hell, if you make $300,000 a year in Arizona, you're in the 1% of Arizona. So let's just go with that. Great. You're making $300,000 a year. You are a success. Do you like what you do every day? Are you getting up dreading every day going, oh, I got to go do what I've got to go do? Are you more successful than, say, a teacher that makes $54,000 a year but gets up every morning enthusiastic about jumping out of bed because they cannot wait to get out there and share themselves with their students and teach and train and educate people? They might not make that as much money as that guy making $300,000. Maybe they're making a tenth of what that person makes. But who's more successful? The person that gets out of bed every morning, excited about their day, feeling good about what they've got to do. They wake up on new op day, excited about the strong session they have ahead of them. Or the guy who's making 10 times that amount but dreads every morning he has to get up if it's not a Saturday or a Sunday. You know what, really, honestly, and this is just to bring back the point of why we always talk about personal development, is because you can have all the money in the world, but if you feel like crap, what good is it? If you don't enjoy getting out of bed in the morning and going out and facing your day, and you're doing something day after day that you don't enjoy or like,
moment will be right there.
How can you consider yourself a success? I think success starts with how you feel. I think that money and I think that material possessions and all that is kind of a result of being successful, which is you like what you're doing every day. So that's kind of my final thought there. So I'll just end today with the prayer, which goes, "O universe, I ask not for more riches, but for more wisdom with which to make better use of the riches given to me at birth through the power to control and direct my own mind to whatever ends I may desire."
All right, everybody. See you back here on Wednesday.